morning and thank you for joining me. This is Laurie of Laurie's Heirloom Sewing. I attempted to do a video yesterday working on the embroidery for our needle case, but you notice I said attempted. It was a complete failure, so I'm not even gonna go there. And of course, right as I said that, my battery died. Okay, so we are working on the bullion roses. And the first thing you'll notice is that you're going to need a lot, whether you're using floss or thread. It can become difficult to manage. That one right there is 9. I'm going to do 15. It might be 16. And they don't need to be like strangling the needle. They can be fairly loose. Okay, now I'm just going to push the needle through, keep the thread where I can see it, pull my needle and put my index finger on top of the wraps and then just pull my needle so that that thread just pulls right through. Okay, so Bama came and got me. He wanted to go outside. Even though it's raining, we went out and walked around in the garden for a little bit. Today we're going to finish up with the little heart needle case. This was the original, made over 20 years ago. This is the pattern, and these are the changes that I've made to the embroidery so far. So I've done all I'm going to do with relation to the stems, the little sweet peas, the leaves, these little buds down here. So all that is left is the bow right here in the middle. So we have completed all of the needlework. Now we just have to go in and carefully remove the waist knots, tie this off. Okay. I'm using my duckbill scissors, because they are flat and they won't cause problems. I'm less likely to cut through my fabric. So now I'm going to go press the work, and when I come back we will be ready. We need to cut out our felts. I'm going to go ahead and press all 4 of these that I cut out, and I'll cut out the pieces that will go on the inside. Alright, I am back. So what I have cut out are 2 of the hearts out of the felt that will be used as our filler for the outer portions, and they will go in between the front and back pieces like this. Okay, so this would be the outer portion, the back piece and the front piece. Oh, and this is the front piece with its embroidery. I don't like the fact that it's pulled a little bit, but that was inevitable because of the way I had to do the embroidery. I do recommend that you do the embroidery and then cut out your heart shape. That's clearly the way that needs to be done. But I like it. I think it's really cute. Okay. And then the two smaller hearts will be used as the interior where the needles and the pins will go. So they are small enough that they'll fit in here without breaching the edges like this. So completed, we would have something that looks like this when opened. And you could put some more of these if you wanted, more than two. I don't think this particular design really works well with more than that, but it's not something I would tell you not to do. Okay, so the very next step is to put your pieces right sides to get, these two should be right sides together. So if you have a fabric with a pattern on one side or a clear right side, you would put those together, and then you will put this piece on the top. So if you're using an interfacing or felt like I am, just lay that on the top and then pin I would just kind of pin it in the middle to hold it together. Maybe do a crisscross in a couple of spots. Like that. Make sure you keep your pin heads or the ends of your pins away from your stitch line. And then don't forget to leave an opening on one of these sides. So my recommendation is, I would say from about here to, I really don't want to stitch along here, but I think we're going to go ahead and just leave that. And then maybe start stitching there. I want to double check and make sure that's going to work. If we flip it, because we've got to fold it here. Yeah, I think, yeah, that should work, right? Been a while since I've made one. Okay, so this is clearly the right side, right? So I will flip this so that this is right sides together with the other side. And I'm not too crazy about these long tails here and here. All right, so these have been stitched. I'm going to remove the pins. And trim our seam allowance pretty close to the edge of our stitching. I want this to turn nice and neat. And I just did a gradual stitch down to the little point on the heart there, or divot, I guess you'd call that. You can see I chose not to do the lace trim. I decided it was just a little bit too much for this particular design. I felt like that was plenty. Okay, so I'm going to take this over to the ironing board and I'm going to turn in along these edges right here, and we'll be hand stitching these down. Okay, so as you can see, I have stitched right across the lower portion of my heart needle case, and this is what it looks like on the inside. A closure. So my thoughts are a button loop. Okay, I have some floche, so I think what I'm going to do is make a loop. Alright, so I've decided I'm going to make a button closure for my little needle case. I'm going to use a mother of pearl button that is relatively small. I don't think it needs to be a large button, but I definitely want, if I can find one, I want a button that has a shank. Ah, here's one. Yes, all right, that one is a serious contender. Here's another one that's identical to that one. I'm sure this is so loud when I do this. Okay, and then if you have a bunch of buttons but you cannot find one with a shank, you can, if you have two that are the same size, then you can stack them. So two, and then just stack them like that. The main goal in this particular case is we want a we want them lifted up off of our project. I think I like this little guy right here, so I'll go ahead. I'm just going to use a piece of floche to attach him since I've got the floche out. So I think that's pretty good. It feels fairly tight. Right, clip that off. All right, now I'm going to take, let's see, I've got one piece of floche that I'm going to cut into 3 equal pieces. So one, much better. Okay, so I have braided 3 pieces of floche together, and I am now going to and this is basically what my plan is right here, is to have this loop on here and then just be attached to the back. I need enough slack so that I can pull it and replace it like that. So if it was too tight, I wouldn't be able to do that without causing some stress to my project. But that's what it looks like right there. So I tied, I'll use a pin. I tied a knot here, and I tied a knot here. I stitched, 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 and then I went under and up and out this way, across right here, and then down and out and under, and I cut it off right there. And now I can just remove the needle and thread like that. And that is the closure. That will work real well. So even if I have, say, at some point in the future, I decide I'm going to go to a class and I want to take this with me, I can put, I doubt I would take one that large, but well, let's just say I've decided to take a spool of thread. I should still be able to close. Yeah, I can. So I've got my little spool of thread in there. I don't know if it would stay, but I mean, you can put little gussets, I guess, although then it wouldn't open up all the way. But this way there's enough room, so if I put my sewing needles in here and I do just decide to, you know, stick a spool of thread in there, I'm good to go. All right, so, whoa. Do like it, but anybody who knows me knows I love pink so much. So there's that. The next thing I wanted to talk about is the next project that I'm going to start, and that is going to be this. And I don't know if I've done any video on this in the last couple of days or not, because I had a couple videos that I ran that were just garbage. I was so tired that on Saturday that it was, yeah, I don't think I've done this. So I'm going to go ahead and run over this with you guys real quick. The fabric has not arrived yet. I believe it is supposed to arrive on Wednesday. Today is Monday, July the 13th of 2020. Plan to start immediately on this particular part of the project. So what I'm doing, if you have this and want to follow along, it's McCall's M2476. I purchased my copy of this pattern on Amazon. This was the only copy left, but I looked on Etsy, and a couple of people had it. So if you're interested, it may still be available in fabric stores. I don't know. I haven't been out. I don't think I've left this house in, oh my goodness, 2 weeks. And since I'm making myself this robe right here, I'm going to make an extra large. And I wanted the length and I wanted the sleeves. I often run into situations where sleeves do this on me. I guess I just have long arms. And with a robe, really, what difference does it make? And I can fit it to myself as I go. But I will put a picture of the fabrics that I'm using. I got all three of them on Amazon. They're all three Stitch and Sparkle. One of them is Stitch and Sparkle Daffodil Pink. And the other one, I don't remember the names of these. I think this is one of them right here. This is that gardening, that adorable gardening fabric that is just adorable. I love, love, love it. And the other one is this, the green print. So the gardening fabric, and this. The plan here is I'm going to make my sister 2 pairs of the shorts. She needs them to be 16 inches from the waist to where they're cut off. And one of those will be made from this. I believe this is a Stitch and Sparkle, isn't it? And I think it's called Vintage Robe. Yes, it's a Stitch and Sparkle. It doesn't say the name on this, on the selvage, but Vintage Mix Rose Sky. So Vintage Mix Rose Sky. And then the other one will be made from this as the main fabric, and this is going to be a cuff on the bottom of the short leg. But anyway, okay, so let's look at the shorts, because that's what we're going to do first. So the pants are basically the shorts pattern, but you're just going to cut those legs off. However, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to fold, when I'm cutting the shorts out, I'm going to take the bottom part of the leg and just fold it up out of the way. So I would be very surprised. I'm gonna say, I haven't looked, that the pants pattern and the shorts pattern are the same pieces. So let's see, pants. Use pieces 13, 14, and 15. Shorts. Use pieces 13, 14, and 15. So they're going to assume that you're just going to cut those legs off, but that destroys the pattern for future use. So just fold the legs up out of the way and cut around the long part so that you still have that pieces 13, 14, and 15 in case you want to make a pair of, longer pajama bottoms. Okay, and then if, like I said, if there were going to be pockets, we would see them here in this cutting layout, and they are not there. So I will make up and design my own pocket. What I want to do is put a pocket on the back right hip, and then interior slash pockets, so that because she's on a cattle farm, she needs a place to put things when she's out. You don't always have the option of carrying whatever with you. So she's got a place for her phone, her back hip pocket, and then keys and all the rest of it can go in those slash pockets. That would be kind of nice. So we'll do that. And turning over, we're going to say, they start us off with the robe, and I'm not doing the robe first. I want to get her shorts made and in the mail so I can do the robe later. So make note of that if you're interested in doing this pattern. The first thing will be the shorts. Okay, so that is going to be on page 4 of 4. So just go straight, after you get them cut out, we're going to go straight over here. So here it is right here, pants or shorts. So what they want you to do is stitch the front piece 13 and the back piece 14 at the inside legs. So each one will get stitched together at the inside leg edges. They're only showing you one, but they mean both of them. Okay, so then we're going to open those out so that they are right sides up, and we're going to put the one piece, this right here, right sides up, and then we're going to take the other one, right sides on top of that, so right sides together, and we're going to stitch from the very back, at the back of our back waist, around and up to the front. So that crotch area is going to get seamed. So we'll have a front section and a back section. We're going to need to cut that seam allowance. We don't want all that in there, but always double stitch, and it tells you that. This is good. This is, so far, this pattern is a good pattern. It says to reinforce this curve right here, stitch it twice. So you're going to stitch 5/8 of an inch And then you're going to go back between those notches and stitch again 3/8 of an inch from the raw edge. Then we're going to pin the back to the front at the sides. So on the outside edges of your legs, that's what you're doing right there. Okay. So, remember I said I was going to do pockets. So before I stitch up along these side seams, I need to add pockets. And the way you do that is you have a pocket piece that will match up with the top part of the waist of the pants. And then it will it's going to open right here. So it'll be attached along that side seam. And then on the inside, it's going to do that, pretty much. There'll be a little divot there, like that. And then to make your pocket, you'll have two pieces. So cut 4, so I'll have 2 for one side and 2 for the other side. You don't cut anything on the fold. So you have 4 pocket pieces that look similar to this. And you will stitch from this top edge all the way around to this little divot right here. I usually just have it like that. And then this line, this side right here, will get attached to this right here. And the other side of this pocket, which should be over here, will get attached to the other side of the pants, like this. And then this, of course, is stitched together. So you have a pocket. Then you start stitching this together about right here where the pocket ends. And that will happen on both sides. And I will probably also go ahead and add a pocket to the back. On back. Before I do anything else. So I'm going to make the pocket for the back right hip and then get that applied and then start doing this right here. Make the casing. You're going to press open this back side seam or back center seam and the front center seam. You're going to have one in the front and one in the back. You need to press that open and stitch it down. Otherwise, when you're putting your elastic in, it's going to get caught in that seam and it's not going to allow you to push the elastic through. So that needs to be stitched down and kept out of the way so that you can just slide that elastic on through. Then you're going to roll down the waistband, stitch across that bottom. You're going to turn back and over 1 1/4 inches, and you are going to turn under 1/4 inch along this bottom edge and stitch right along there, but leave an opening. You are going to be putting the elastic through right here at the back of the shorts. And I think you can see that there's no stitching along the bottom edge there, but they're showing stitching along that top edge. Now the other option is to either use your serger or you can use a really close, not a satin stitch, but a good tight zigzag stitch right along that bottom edge. So you don't have to do that fold under and stitch. All you would need to do is just do a zigzag around the raw edge and then stitch, but leave that opening. Then you're going to insert the elastic through that opening, go all the way around, stitch your elastic together, and then close up that little back casing area. Now, a lot of times After you do that, after you get all of that done, you adjust where the elastic is within the waistband, so you don't have like a whole bunch of elastic at the back and a little bit in the front, or it's all gobbed up on one side. You just kind of adjust it, and then you can stitch along the oh, they show that right here. This is a very good pattern. So far I'm impressed. Stitch along that side seam down toward like the top of the waist, down toward the bottom of the leg, but just across the elastic. And that will kind of hold that fullness in where you have decided you want it to be. And then you're just going to hem those pant legs. I recommend that before you do any of the other things, before you get these pants gathered up into an elasticy situation, go ahead and fold under the raw edge of the bottom part of these legs and press them. And it just makes it easier, because then you're not dealing with gathered up fabric. So if you just go ahead and do a fold up right here, or even do that zigzag, like I said earlier, just, you know, zigzag along the raw edge, fold it up and press it, and then do your hem. So that's my suggestion on that. And with that, I think, now that we've gone over the pattern, I know I need to design a pocket for the shorts, and these are all the pattern pieces that I get to cut out, which means I'm going to have to clear off my work table. Anyway, thank you for joining me to make our adorable little needle case. I think we all will enjoy it. I mean, it's just a sweet, precious little, cute, fun project. I love sewing heart shapes. They just bring me such happiness. It just suits me. I love it to death. I hope everybody has a fantastic day. I hope this video makes sense. I'm a little worried about that, but we'll see. I'll try to get it uploaded and edited today. Tomorrow is probably going to be a garden tour video. I think we're supposed to have sunshine most of the day today, and then it will just be partly cloudy tomorrow, which means the ground should be dry, in which case there's some new things blooming that we need to explore. And I'm excited to pull Caroline into a what to do in the summertime when most of your spring plants have kind of finished blooming. Now remember, annuals, on the other hand, oh, that's a discussion for tomorrow. So anyway, I hope every single person watching this video has a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you the next time.